Good morn or evening, friends. It is I, Wise Guy, and wow, forgot who I was. Apparently, it is I, Wise Guys, and I am back again, continuing this season 2 of Street Fighter 5. Season 3 has been announced. I am hype. Arcade Edition looks hype. Oh, it's amazing. Nevertheless, we're going to finish out these characters on season 2. I've had this in the hopper for a while. Just hadn't got a chance to put the lovely vocals on it. Going ahead and going through Abigail. Abigail is, I think it's fair to say Abigail was probably the character that was announced in season 2 that most fans were least excited about. It's kind of controversial when season 2 first came out that Capcom decided to go the direction of having all new characters, with the exception of maybe Akuma. Everybody else on season 2 was somebody that we didn't know anything about. Well, let's not say we didn't know anything about them. It is better to say that the people on season 2 were people that were new to the series. So, you end up with some characters you know. Wow, a little bit of lag there. You end up with some characters you know, and some characters you're kind of expected, like Corrine, not Corrine, can't think of her name now. But, you know, we had some characters that were expected, some that we did not expect, and Abigail was one that I don't think anybody expected. He is straight out of Final Fight. He is a member of the Mad Gear Gang. If you've ever played Final Fight, you recognize him a little bit. He was one of those guys that you kind of tried to stay away from, but was able to deal damage once they got to you. Nevertheless, he has made his initial appearance here on Street Fighter 5 Season 2, and he is a bruiser, much like Zangief, T-Hawk, Hakan to a far lesser extent. Abigail is that elusive grappler. The whole point of his game style, get in close and deal your damage. You can deal with a lot of mix-ups because he doesn't have a lot of, I don't think he has any projectiles. But your mix-up essentially becomes, am I going to hit you or am I going to throw you? Making it dangerous for your opponent to stay on the ground. But by the same effect, it's also dangerous for them to jump because, as you can see, Abigail is he's a very crucial matchup for the life bars there. His head in just a regular walk is going to those life bars. He's got great normals, like a lot of the bigger bruisier characters have. Very great damage, very high stamina. So he can take a punch, keep on going. If he punches you, particularly with that fierce, oh, you can get so much work done off that fierce. One of his biggest links, at least for me, was that crouching strong. It's slow though. It's pretty good as far as anti-air as well as a combo starter, but it is a little slower. He does come all the way over his body to make that attack. And so it's a little difficult to use, or at least for me to use consistently. That's also one of my favorite throws in the game. That little thump to the forehead. But it's very clear to see, you know, kind of where his strengths lie. And as you can see, where his weaknesses lie. I was trying to parry there. Those parries did not come out properly. There is a little bit of lag, nothing terrible, but it's there. Looks like Kid is trying to nickel and dime me here. That was a fatal mistake though. That was my fault for not going for crush counter, but it looks like we did get a chance to get the super in. I can't take any more chip. Oh, V-trigger. Oh, I missed the link though. That should have been game. I had that. I should have been game. Because of the new rules, there ain't no chip. He can't just sit back and chip me out. If this was something to the effect of Street Fighter 4, he would have won the game by now. 3 seconds left. Gotta make something happen. Oh! It's not good. His little rolling attack that you see me do a lot with his leg extended is his sweep. It's his crouching roundhouse. It does hit low, I believe, on the second hit. I don't know if it hits low on the first. The trick for it usually, you can, on the first hit, you can cancel in the V trigger. So you can get a hit, cancel in the V trigger, and then go into a damaging combo. It is very, very good. But at this point, I am kind of feeling Abigail out, trying to learn how to play him again. It's just a newer... It's not only a newer character, but it had been a while since I'd played up until this point. And with Manat and Zeku, I got so much work to do. But we'll talk about them when we get there. Still yet a little bit of... Ooh. I didn't know Ken could teleport. Good kicks to your face, to your jiznal. As you can see, just because of his frame, Abigail is very effective at controlling space. I am not using him in that manner. Oh, excuse me. I'm not using him properly in that manner. I should probably be peppering in a few more standing strongs and standing fierces just to make sure Ken is remaining honest. In addition to that, Abigail has a back fierce. I think it's back fierce and forward fierce attacks, or maybe it's back strong and forward strong. Either way, those attacks are amazing when utilized properly. Also, in V trigger, he gains a charge up attack that can usually get you a pretty good ground bounce or a pretty good wall bounce to allow you to create better combos. Be a little more creative in your play. I think the best part, or at least what I like most about Abigail, is just the animation for him. Just so hulking in size. Which is awesome. Because of that, you get a character that people, just by looking at, kind of get the need, they kind of get the feel they want to steer away from. They want to steer clear for him. Because they can, I mean, you can look at Abigail and kind of get the sense that he's going to be able to deal some really good damage to you. Because of that, you can kind of throw people off the game plan they normally want. I always say that there are a number of differences between Ken and Ryu, for example. One of which being that Ken, for me, is a flashier character, and he's able to do better combos, a little more stylish. He's more about a long game than a damaging game, even though he can do some pretty good damage. If you can relegate him to throwing fireballs, oh, you win. So right now, I've got Ken, who does not want to go in. He's trying to keep me out as best as possible. Because he's doing most of his work attempting to keep me out, as opposed to trying to maximize on the mid-game, I'm in a very good position right now. I can continue to walk him down. I can jump his fireballs. He's got to be careful no matter what. Meanwhile, I get to control space a lot better on him. One of the things I did learn about Abigail, though, as you can see, the time tends to run out a lot faster. I spend so much time, or not faster, but more often, which is why this video is a little bit longer. I feel like I spend far more time with Abigail kind of walking my opponent down, and I don't know all of the best ways to get damage with him. So when I get in, I don't capitalize quite as much as I should. But I feel like most of the match is me trying my best to slow walk somebody into a corner and then trying to get the capitalization on damage. So, and them desperately trying to keep me out. So in this particular case, not only am I walking in, but I got to be very careful as I walk in because it's going to be fireball, fireball, fireball. As you can see, I have a number of different things I can do with that to kind of make that fireball a less than viable option, but it's still something I have to deal with every single time. He's always going to back up. He's always going to throw fireballs. I've got to account for them. I still have to get in. I can't take that much damage. Now that being said, I do have parries that I'm not using. I've got some moves with super armor that I'm not using. I have a lot more options than you see that I am going to, but it still always feels the same way, and I feel like most of the matches that I play with Abigail end up going kind of in the long category just because at a certain point it all devolves into this. Let's just walk. I'm getting close. You do it. Now I will say this. In this particular case, this is something stupid that I'm doing, and that was attempting to chase Ken down. I was running low on time. I had no reason to keep moving forward. I had a fairly significant lead. And that's something you got to learn to do a lot when you have some of the bigger, slower characters, if you have a life advantage at the end, toward the end of the game, you don't have to chase them all day long. You can force them to make a mistake, kind of get in a good position, mid-screen, quarter screen, something like that, just in a good whiff area. Let them throw out whatever they want to throw out, and you punish. That's all you really need to do. You don't have to go super ham in there, just because I know you want to get the kill. I know you've got a character that you feel like is going to deal really good damage. Dropped by controller. But sometimes it is better to just take what you get and just like walk them down. And if they want to sit back and wait for time to go out, that's fine. You got the life lead. You have the advantage. Make them come into you. Got a grappler myself now. It kind of nullifies the biggest advantage I have, and that is that I am able to do a little grappling as well as damage, so they have to kind of keep an eye on what I'm doing. Because our Mika is a grappler as well, it's a little less important for her to kind of control space in the way that it was for Ken, because she can kind of hold her own when we get in there. If I'm, say, trying to fake a mix-up and to bait out maybe a dragon punch or something like that, and I'm just going to block, she can hit me with a command grab, and all of a sudden she's in control and I have to react to what she's doing. So I got to keep a good eye out for her. Right now I'm getting worked. Abigail has such good animations though. Oof. Except for that tire on his arm. I don't understand that. Looking pretty good. Again, because it's Mika, she can't just kind of sit back. She doesn't have the luxury to sit back and throw fireballs. She doesn't have the luxury of, kind of dance in, dance out, dance in, dance out. I figured this particular gentleman could have done a little bit more there. But at the end of the day, there's nothing ridiculous going on. Like, there's not because Mika's going to have to get in eventually too. And I can utilize his desire to get in with my desire to fight close range. I don't have to go too deep into it as far as trying to close the space gap or anything like that, because I know that Mika's going to have to come in and fight me. So at some point, I'm going to get what I want anyway. Particularly now, because again, I got a life lead. So you see, I'm not ready for crush counters yet. Oh, I would be remiss to say that, or to not say that Abigail is probably the most fun character of the series, or at least that I've played. I haven't played enough Zeku to kind of get a great understanding of him just yet, but when Abigail came out, I was as disappointed as everybody else was. I figured that Abigail was, I will say, an unnecessary character. The stuff that he does well feels like somebody else does it better. It just didn't seem like a reason to put him in there. However, playing the game with him is so much fun. It's this really interesting thing of trying to control space. His attacks, particularly the further, like that, the fierce punch and that type of thing, they cover so much space that your opponent is always watching. They always have to be waiting, because you can almost get 50%, 33 to 50% of the screen with the press of one button. I know Dhalsim can do that too. This is different. Dhalsim's not this big. If I was paying a little more attention, I think I would have been able to capitalize on that a little more. But instead, I wanted to get punched in the face. Merry Christmas to me. There's no reason I should lose this match at this point. I've got him a good... yawning crazy today, sorry. I've got him in a good position. Got his back against the wall. I've got a pretty good life lead. Now it's about even. But all I gotta do is just kind of... I can play reactionary and keep them off me right now. Try to go in, though. I want that kill. Probably should have stayed on her there. Not getting any really good command grabs right now. Oh no. Yeah, that sucks. I should have known better than I should have known much better than that. I had a couple of options. I think on that one I was trying to do an EX move, hoping that the early frame or early active frame invincibility would save me, but not the case. Not liking this lag, man. Not liking it at all. But as you see, even Mika, who needs to get in close to fight. Let's watch what happens when he takes a couple hits. I come in, and he wants to stay in that mid range. He goes to about a third to a half a screen away, and he focuses on that drop kick. Why? Because it's quick damage if it hits. He can combo it if it hits, and it keeps him out of my range. Because Mika's just much faster than I am, so she can kind of dance in and out of my range pretty easy. I'm sure he wanted to do more with that V-trigger activation. Can't always get what you want. That's cool. We'll take that loss. That makes it 1-1, baby. We're going to come back in there, and we're going to wreck shop. How about it? You, me and you, your mama, and your cousin, too. Sorry. All right. The rubber match. Again, as you can see, it feels like these matches go on forever. And lots that's just... I don't know the correct pacing for being super aggressive with the Abigail, but I also don't... Because I'm not able to press the issue, I gotta slow walk them down. And everybody seems very... willing to just let me do my slow walk because they'll just get out of it anyway. So maybe it's not supposed to last this long. Maybe I'm supposed to be, I'm sure I'm supposed to be getting more damage because he's just a damage machine, but it's not that big of a deal. If the matches last longer, the matches just last longer. It's okay as long as I'm learning something from them, and a lot of what I'm learning right now is just spacing mistakes. And knowing what button to press when. I don't play Abigail quite enough to watch a game, even my own, and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have pressed this button. That would have been smarter. Just because I don't know. That V-trigger activation was kind of a waste, but maybe we can use that hyper armor to get in and deal some damage. Yes! Or we can just go for a basic grab. Spike her in the ground. How about that? Still trying to control space. Still trying to make sure they understand that you can't just get away with whatever you want to get away with. Because if you go for those drop kicks, you may run into a fist, which will give me crush counter, which will give me some really big damaje. But so far, I'm not able to really capitalize on it, and I haven't really caught him. And now I'm in trouble, and he has a good life lead. He has a very good life lead, and could run away as far as he wants to right now. Because I'm not going to catch him. But, kept going, got the stun. Worked through the lag. It's what it is, man. Final round. Hopefully we can win this set. Still trying to stretch out that fierce. Again, nothing wrong with the fierce. It's just that range is what I'm trying to test with. Trying to make sure I can get some good damage in if I need to. Not enough for the V-trigger yet. She has it though. And at this point, that's the other thing. I don't know if I can capitalize quite as much on his short kick or his medium kick. Going through this, that's kind of what I'm noticing about Abigail. I think I'm not playing quite as solidly as I need to play. Just making better decisions with the space that I've obtained. But also one of the things that sunk me is that I didn't have a good bread and butter combo. I am doing okay. I mean, I'm not doing anything great or special or anything like that, but this goes much smoother if I am able to have that guaranteed damage. And right now I just don't. That's why I'm crouching in a corner getting thrown around. But you know, it is what it is. You lose some, you win some. I just feel like I should have done a little bit better with what I was given. I feel like if I knew my combos, got a good bread and butter even before I went in there, that would have been smarter. I thought I had a bread and butter, but most of the bread and butters that I have with Abigail hinge off of that crouching strong. And the only problem with crouching strong is it's just too slow. He's not getting any significant... I mean, he's got good range with it. You can lead into some really good damage with it if you know what you're doing. I've done some tests. I don't know what I'm doing, so, you know. But, that all said, I should have figured out, like, just the go-to. That standing strong is not working quite as well as I'd hoped. And if that's the case, then I should have had a good backup plan, another good go-to, something like that. Something a little bit faster. And I don't think I ever did. And this Chun-Li, let's just say he knows a little bit about what he's doing. I think that's an understatement, but let's just say he knows a little bit about what he's doing. And he's got me on the run with this here Abigail. Slide. By the way, Chun-Li has all of the outfits. Some good, some great. A couple of them are bad. But Capcom and Chun-Li, man, they get along really well. Should have done a better punish there. I think that's the other thing, too. I'm not doing quite enough crush counters. Every Street Fighter has a story to the game. Like for Street Fighter 2, well, I guess not the original Street Fighter 2, but that Street Fighter 2 where they added the super meter and, you know, the red fireballs, that kind of thing. That was their thing. Street Fighter 3 came along, we started getting parries and the universal overheads, things like that. Street Fighter 4 came along, we start getting that focus system, and now Street Fighter 5. A lot of what Street Fighter 5 has is the V trigger system. But another part that I don't think people really kind of understand is how important the crush counters are. It is important to have a crush counter combo with pretty much anybody you play. That's going to be the majority of where your damage comes from, but it's also a good way to make sure your opponent's in check. And quite frankly, I just didn't have one. I don't have anything for... I take that back. I do have a V-trigger combo, but it hinges off of that his sweep, the crouching roundhouse that does a little wheel. And honestly, that's just a terrible one that I have. I mean, it's not good enough for me to have that in the repertoire as that's my go-to. It's just not. I should have had something a little bit faster. I should have worked on my overheads not my overhead, but my anti-air just a little bit more, because Abigail has all these options. Yeah, then with them pumps. Yeah, get spiked. Almost. Chun-Li's gonna try to come back now. Can't let her do it. Okay. Whew. Alright, so here's the thing. Because I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to stop Chun-Li coming in and going ham beast. So I'm trying to be a little... Basically, what that was trying to be as strategic as possible with my punches. With my jabs in particularly. Because that jab is the fastest thing he's got coming out, I believe. And she had enough damage to where, the jab would have done the work. I'm in a pretty good position in the second round. I don't have to be too aggressive. I can just kind of make sure Chun-Li wants to come to me. Chun-Li is another character with some zoning potential, but is really set to be a... I forgot what I was going to say. It's been a long day, man. Crema. But I'm not making appropriate enough use of my character right now, and this Chun-Li knows enough about what they're doing to start hitting me with combos that go for the kill. And so it's looking kind of bleak. Just call it what it is. It's looking kind of bleak. And it was good to be able to see this level of skill, though. Because I don't know quite how good this guy is, but I do know he's good enough to have some very good combos. Some extenders. He's working on some of the in-air lightning legs. And that's something that you see a lot of, particularly from better players. They really practice that insta-air. you know, as low to the ground as possible. Or the floatiness. I believe if you catch her on the right side, Chun-Li, or not right as into your physical right, but if you catch her correctly, Chun-Li actually gets the floatier animation where she kind of goes up and then down on her lightning legs. It's very important that you learn those, dude. It's not looking good, but we can come back, man. We can come back, man. A little bit of lag, we still good. Oh! And this is where having those combos come in handy. There is no reason that I shouldn't have had a better idea of what to do after that crush counter. No reason whatsoever. And because I didn't, that's the game. So I would suggest that everybody look for a good crush counter. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like, hit like. If you love, hit subscribe. Peace out. Oh, by the way, leave me a comment if you want. I'd appreciate it.